and welcome to Viking Age music. I'm sitting here in my little terrace outside in the city of Ribe. Well, Ribe is actually the oldest town in whole Scandinavia, dating back to 720. In this video, I will try to tell you about the lyre. What is a lyre? And also give you a little bit background and history about the lyre. So here we have a typical lyre, and they are all almost have the same shape. Some can be a bit longer, some can be a bit shorter and wider and so on, but the basic design is almost identical to them. And what makes a lyre? Well, first of all, we have the body and the arms, and of course the arch, the top piece where the tuners are sitting. And all lyres are, the body and the arms are one piece of wood, massive piece of wood that is carved out, and then you put a lid on it, a tone lid. So you get a tone chamber. You can hear it vibrates and saying something. And most lyres are constructed that way, that the arch is one piece and the body and arms is another piece. And they are joined together by joints, like this, for example, or other ways to make joints. And one of them, the trussing in lyre, is actually one piece of wood. Also the arch and everything, one piece of wood, and then you just take out that space here. So, well, I would say the benefits to have an arch in one piece and the rest of the lyre in another piece is that if this is going to crack or get destroyed, you actually just have to change the arch. Whereby if the lyre is made of one piece and the arch also, when that cracks, it could easily damage the arms and the whole lyre, and then it's a bigger repair if it can be repaired. So, and of course on the arch, the top piece, you have the tuning pegs. And the tuning pegs are usually made of some hardwood. Actually, also, and many lyres that they found, it can be different types of woods. Because, let's say, one of the pegs is breaks, then you take a piece of wood that you find and make a new tuning peg and stuff that in, and then you are playing again. And of course, they work by tension. And you have no way of tuning a lyre with your fingers. It's not possible. So therefore, you have to have some kind of a tool, a thingy like this, a tuning device. I always make them so that they fit nicely on the tuning pegs, and you can see in that way I have really a high amount of power and control of the tuning. So that makes it a lot easier. And you can tune, of course, a lyre in many different ways. You can tune it in the way you want it, or you can change it if you have to play something else. Now, the strings. Well, in the Viking Age and the Iron Age and so on, and also in the Middle Ages, they would use sheep's gut for the strings. Sheep gut is plenty of, and it's not so hard to make them. They're fairly durable. I have chosen to put Nile gut strings on this because Nile gut is an artificial form of gut. It looks like and sounds almost identical to real sheep's gut. The pro is that this is not, when it's tuned up and it's finished and the strings are resting, well, then actually they will stay in tune much longer. if you take sheepscot, a day like today, we had a visit from Thor this night, and there was a lot of thunder and lightning. He drove around his cart with the two goats and swinging his hammer and making a lot of noise. So today is very damp. It comes a lot of rain also. That means sheepscot will absorb the moist in the air, and then they will expand. You have to tune it. When the sun comes out and everything is drying up, the strings will contract. Have to tune it again. So therefore I use Nile gut. Well, the next part is the bridge. And the bridge I always make in oak, hardwood, but there are finds of bridges made of willow, amber, they're exotic, and I would like to make an amber bridge at one point. Also bone and antler, and a very posh one that was made out of brass. The next component is the saddle. Well, funny enough, there has never been really found a saddle on a lyre. Even maybe it's rotted away, or maybe they don't have any saddle. I find it very, very hard to attach all the strings here on the lyre and pull them over the bridge. It makes it harder to change a string. With a saddle, you can easily change a string. And you also have another nice thing about the saddle. Let's see if I can make. Let's see if you can hear it. You have a vibrato. How cool is that? So, yeah, and of course the lid that you put over the sound hole has to be fairly thin, about 3 millimeters. And all of course you have to carve it out so that the back side also is about 3 millimeters. So you really get a really nice tone chamber. Some lyres have tone holes. If you look at the trussing, and I will also make a video about the trussing, it has about 8. It has 8 holes here by the bridge that acts like tone holes, and it makes a bit of difference in the loudness of the lyre. So that's the main thing about what is a lyre, how do you make it. Now a little bit about the history. The history of the lyre is very old because it is an old instrument. The first finds are from the Iron Age 500 after Christ. And how did it come to? My theory is that when the Romans went camping and tripping around Europe and were very nice visitors to many countries, they also brought them with them the harp. And you can see the lyre is very similar to a harp. But I think at some point, some Germans or Celts thought, okay, it's very nice with the harp, but we want to make another instrument that is ours. And then they maybe thought, well, how cool would it be if we could make it so that you could actually make chords with it? I'm not sure that we're thinking about chords, but there definitely was a thinking behind to design it that way. Because when you make it like this, then you have the plucking option, and you have, of course, the strumming. And you can combine it. Cool, I would say. So it becomes, and in normal terms, they always call it a Germanic lyre or Anglo-Saxon. I think that the Anglos and the Saxons, when they went over to England to visit them friendly, they brought the lyre, and it also became the Anglo-Saxon lyre. And it was very, very important for the Saxons and Anglo-Saxons, the lyre. They were really into it. So much that when the Normans in 1066 conquered England, soon after they forbid the lyre and playing the lyre to break their spirit and their sense of nationality and people. And that's the way people still oppress other peoples, by denying them their culture, unfortunately. And of course, in Scandinavia, we have finds of lyres. And so, well, how did they use the lyre? Well, we don't have many clues, but we have one or two writings, sagas, where it's told that especially um, high-end status, jarls, kings, and so on, when they have a banquet in the longhouse, inviting people in, there would maybe be a professional player called a skjald, or bard in English, who were entertaining the stories and the music. But it was also told that it was very normal that the lyre would be passed around. So everybody was actually expected to provide some kind of poetry or story. That's nice also. And you can maybe imagine that if you take the Ribe lyre, it was found in a fairly normal trading house. And who knows, maybe the person who had the lyre in Ribe, when he had visitors, maybe other traders with ship that comes by ship and make trading, maybe he would invite one or two of them and then say to them, hey, let's hear a story from your country, maybe Frisia or England or Norway. Nice way to exchange new songs and stories, because at that time in Scandinavia, everything was oral. It's the oral tradition. We didn't write anything down. Yeah, maybe some small messages on runestones, but that was all. So it was very important that you could recite stories again and again and tell them to the next generation or other people so they would survive. And therefore, it's possible that's therefore that Snorri Snorrisson and other people could make their written accounts. They were hearing all the stories and then write them down, maybe coloring them with their own ideas, I would suspect. Well, so clearly it's an instrument for storytelling, because it's not a loud instrument. It's not very suited for the party, drinking, dancing, laughing, and so on, because the lyre would not be able to keep up with that volume. But it's clearly a storytelling instrument where you would recite some poetry or a story, and then you would accompany it with the lyre. I will not do that because then I lose the concentration. And as soon as somebody would pull the lyre out, everybody would go quiet, because then they knew there's a story coming. And it's like today when we are watching a movie, when there's scary music, we know it's a scary scene. Is there funny music, then it's probably funny. And you can use the lyre to make that undertone to really enhance the story. And that's a nice idea, I think. So, how do you play it? Well, as I told you, you can pluck it and you can pluck and strum it also. So I'll try to. Well, some people are very, very skilled at plucking everything with the fingers, and I'm not so good at it. I can just, barely. Oh, now we come to the strumming part, and the strumming is actually just putting your fingers on the strings, not pressing them, just mute them. So actually, it gives you a lot of possibilities to make songs, melodies, and yeah, it's actually a fairly easy instrument to play in that sense that if you give that to a person, after 5 minutes they will be able to make a random tune or melody. So that's about all I have about what is the lyre, how do you make it, how do you play it. So I'm making more videos where I will present every lyre I built and made, and I also made a special one just about the ripa lyre. I always call it a lyre because that's the Danish and lyre is the English, so well, bear with me. So I would say that would be all for today. Have a nice day and hope to see you soon again. Bye.